Infinite Electronics. So for our organization, we are utilizing Intelligent Audit for our inbound ocean freight and air freight carriers, our domestic parcel, our international parcel, and then also our domestic freight for LTL truckload. I think the main thing that Intelligent Audit has been able to do for us is to really help us with our strategy that comes around our data visibility and our just really integrity of the data. Previously, we had a partner that they could pay the bills for us, but they couldn't help us understand what the transportation data was telling our company. And 20 years of doing this at 4 different organizations, the data for transportation tells you a lot, and Intelligent Audit has supported us in making sure that we can see that data, have visibility around that data, and really understand what the transportation is telling us about the health of our business. The main objective was really to ensure that we had good control around our freight spend and what we're doing. And it starts with, again, the visibility on the data, because with that data visibility, we're able to understand, like, hey, did I use this why did I use this transportation spend? So I can go back and I can say, this isn't related to a customer order. Why is the warehouse spending it? And then I can understand what that gap is in the warehouse, or what's the gap in the inventory. So it's really giving me the opportunity to see the health of it. And our main objective was to make sure that we could gain that visibility. And that's one of the things that I was really attracted to when I looked at the different service offerings that in the different competition in this market, to say, this is what they do and this is what they do well. The other thing was trying to consolidate your freight data with your parcel data is really, really difficult. And the system allows us to do that, and it enables us to have that one-stop shop for visibility, and also the ability to process everything in one chunk payment versus you gotta pay parcel carriers this way, or you gotta pay your freight carriers this way, and your domestic gets paid this way, but your international gets paid this way. So we were really able to do that. And then also just the simplified, we write one check, it goes to the business partner with the bank, and from there, they distribute it. So just super smooth sailing for us on those things. So the reporting capabilities have actually been really dynamic. I use them all the day, like to be able to pull up a dashboard and somebody could say, which one of your brands is doing this, and what is what's the average weight per package per one of our brands. So we have 14 different brands that we're managing all of their freight spend in one centralized place. And so I can take that data and I can take those analytics and I can say, average spend for this brand is $14 per shipment, and it's a 3-pound shipment. All right, that tells me now when I want to go set freight pricing and what I'm going to charge my customers, or, I want to try minimum cart value, or I want to try a different strategy with like flat rate shipping. It gives me that ability to quickly see the data, not have to wait on it or spend a week or 2 of my time analyzing it. I can actually just go into the dashboard and put those parameters in, filter the data like you would, and as easy as Excel used to be, and voila, you have it and it's visual. The team has been really responsive. I think the big part for me was the transition was pretty smooth. I've implemented a lot of IT solutions, and a lot of it is how good you put in as the customer. But I came to you guys with junk data, carriers that were all over the place. Nobody was vetted, and going through this process really brought the value of helping us clean up those processes that Infinite Electronics didn't previously have, because again, we're 14 different mergers and acquisitions, so we were able to really focus on that, clean up the processes, and I think that was a value that, I can't necessarily put a dollar amount to that value, but I can tell you that it's really been very positive for us to understand how what our carriers are doing and actually have those business rules. And something as simple as the carrier doesn't offer EDI. Well, that doesn't work in today's environment if I need to be able to do accruals and things like that. So, we've become more selective on the carrier partners from working with the company too, and understanding, what their technology capabilities are, where we don't have that same level of, visibility in our world where, we're just trying to ship things. I think a lot of it around the data, definitely there's a ton of automation there where we just didn't have it before. I was doing it in Excel and having to, pivot out things and build my own graphs and all of that. So like when I need to prepare for a QBR, for a monthly business review, or I've got my board of directors looking for information, I can quickly put the information together for them and hand it to them and say, this is where we're at with the data. I think for myself, for a long time, I was a one-person team, at least on the transportation side of it, and my team has grown now. But I think what it's really helped with is that I don't have to I didn't have to expand my team. And my team I was able to take a lot of this on, go through the process, and like I said, 30 minutes a week to really go through and make sure my weekly close looks like the way it's supposed to. I got better control over my coding of the freight quoting, so I can make sure it hits the right GL codes and all of those things that are important to our business. And I can do this in an hour, where in the past it wasn't getting done, or it was a manual process with like a different provider, a different partner, and we didn't have any control over it. So now it's like just visibility, data, control, all of those things that are critical to my role they're there now, and I don't have to expand my team. So it's not implemented yet because we're still very new with you guys on that part of it. But the big thing for our finance team is the accrual report that we're getting ready to hopefully roll out here very shortly. I'm in the testing phases of it, and I can see where, for like our finance team, where they're trying to do budget and accruals because this stuff shipped in July, but hey, it's September now, and customs is just now giving you the customs and duties. We have the ability to work with the Intelligent Audit team, and they're building a custom accrual report that our team can actually trust. So a lot of times we're doing this kind of like, we think it's going to be $250,000 that we need to accrue for. Maybe not, but now our ability to match our outbound purchase orders and our sales orders and things like that to the actual transportation spend is allowing us to have the data and the visibility to be able to now build those accrual reports and really just focus on, what's important to our business and not spend all this time, focusing on data, like data analytics. I think the biggest thing is it's allowed us to clean up our GL coding and really understand how we're spending our funds around transportation. It's also enabled us to be able to not fall behind on our billing. I found previously there are invoices that were outstanding from like 2019, and we were able to get all of this cleaned up, and we are now current. And we're actually able to pay upon invoicing, which is really important to the carriers. And our carriers are now able to, it gives me better negotiating tools. I also really love the parcel rate, the parcel rate audit, where they're actually going in and auditing against my contracts. So I know that I'm getting what I'm supposed to get from my carriers. And it's all automated, so I don't have to do all of that manually, and I don't have to file all of it. So from a financial perspective, it's definitely been a huge improvement for us. But I would definitely say what we're going to see, we're 6 months in now. What I'm going to see when I go to do budgeting this year for next year, I think that's really going to be where we see some of the significant benefits to the cost savings and, where do I want to go and what can we do? Because I think we didn't even know where we were at, so we didn't know where we could go.